Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. You are taking a live look outside across Tucson on this Monday morning. A lot of you waking up to some puddles or raindrops on your windshield. It definitely was a rainy Sunday. Overnight it was rainy, and today is a first alert action day. We are going to check in here shortly with 13 first alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell to kind of break down when you can expect to see that rain at your house. But first, we want to start with some late breaking news. Just within the last 24 hours, there has been 3 fatal pedestrian crashes here in Tucson. Good morning, everyone. I'm Carson Courier. My friend Anna Orsini is not here today, but you are watching 13 Plus Unscripted. First, let's get right on over to our website here, where we are tracking one of those pedestrian crashes. So we are working to learn more about a deadly crash involving a pedestrian here. This happened last night near Speedway in Magnolia, with the pedestrian being pronounced dead at the scene. That's according to TPD. We are told the driver of the vehicle remained and cooperated. So you can see this article here on KOLD.com if you want to read more about this. This is again the third pedestrian vehicle crash, fatal pedestrian vehicle crash in just 24 hours here at home. Another one that we're learning about this morning happened last night at 34th and Wilmot. That was a bicyclist versus a vehicle, and that bicyclist did die following that crash. The other one that we are tracking here, you are taking a look at some video of the River near Stone Loop. We are pushing for more information on this deadly crash in Tucson. TPD says it happened again at River Road and at Stone Loop, the intersection there. The intersection is back open this morning after being closed for an investigation. This is now the 10th deadly pedestrian crash so far this year. It is only the 22nd, and we've already seen 10 individuals die from this. Our roads are extremely violent right now. We will make sure to bring you the latest as this investigation. Now we're going to turn on over to something national that we're following for you. Today is the 51st anniversary of Roe versus Wade, the decision there. You are taking a live look out to Washington, D.C., where the decision declared a nationwide constitutional right for a woman to have an abortion was made 51 years ago. Roe versus Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court in June of 2022. In the president's statement this morning, he said, quote, 51 years ago today, the Supreme Court recognized a woman's constitutional right to make deeply personal decisions with her doctor, free from the interference of politicians. Then, a year and a half ago, the court made the extreme decision to overturn Roe and take away a constitutional right. As a result, tens of millions of women now live in states with extreme and dangerous abortion bans, end quote. The statement also says, in part, we stand with the vast majority of Americans who support a woman's right to choose and continue to call on Congress to restore the protections of Roe and federal law once again. So again, that is a live look out to Washington, D.C. on this 51st anniversary of the decision being made of Roe versus Wade. Another national story we're following for you, we want to flip on back to our website here. Former President Donald Trump was expected to briefly step away from his campaign trail today and into a courtroom in the defamation trial for his comments about writer E. Jean Carroll. There was a chance he could take the stand, but the judge has put limitations on what Trump will be allowed to say. In just the last few minutes, it was announced the trial was postponed today due to a juror illness. It is postponed by 1 day. Trump does not need to be there. Trump does need to be there, A jury found last year he sexually abused Carroll. This trial is part of the process of determining how much Trump will need to pay her in damages. The first jury awarded her $5 million, which Trump is appealing. In this trial, Carroll is seeking $10 million. So again, we will be watching this for you. Anna and I will bring this back up tomorrow, give you the latest on that trial. But first, we want to bring in 13. First alert meteorologist Mallory Chanel here. And Mallory, definitely the story today is the weather. We saw
Yes.
record-breaking rain yesterday. Kind of expecting to see this rain, though, for the next few days.
Yeah, so for the next 48 hours, if you got out all that rain gear
Yeah.
yesterday, you were out and about, you definitely need it later on today and into tomorrow as well.
Okay.
Now, all is dry this morning, but if we do take a look at the latest satellite and radar there, thank you, you can see that things are quiet here locally. Same cannot be said this morning elsewhere across the country between Houston and Dallas, dealing with widespread rainfall. Where it's a little bit colder, you're seeing that ice in portions of Arkansas, Missouri, into Illinois as well. But then just off to our west, you see all of that rain around Los Angeles. That is heading our direction later on today, into tonight, and into tomorrow. So your satellite and radar here showing that cloud cover increasing from the west and southwest. So actually seeing a little bit of sun this morning, but that will end over the next few hours as we become mostly cloudy. Here in Tucson, we're sitting at 49 degrees. Winds are calm. That sunset, even though we won't see a ton of sun today, at 5:48 this evening. Today's forecast across southern Arizona, upper 50s, low 60s for Tucson, Nogales, Green Valley, and San Manuel. So that is below normal for this time of year. And then today in Cochise County, expecting highs in the mid to upper 50s to right around 60 degrees for Bisbee, Wilcox, Sierra Vista, and Douglas. Now, we're going to talk much more about our 7-day forecast. That's coming up here in just a few minutes, so stay tuned.
Okay, thank you, Mallory. Now we want to tell you about some local stories here happening today. So if those of you ride public transportation, you utilize SunTran Express, you definitely want to listen to this. Happening today, city leaders in SunTran are looking to hear from you about the possibility of some changes to the transit system here. Some of those changes include mergers, discontinuations, and reroutes. And we know that this could impact over 60 SunTran routes, 14 Sun Express routes, and 8 Sun Shuttle routes. It will also include changes to service times throughout the week and weekends, so definitely a big deal here. That first meeting is later today at 5 at South La Jolla Boulevard. The second is coming up tomorrow. And another story we're following this morning, a man found guilty of killing a U.S. Marshal in 2018 is expected in court for his sentencing. Now, you may remember that man that was just there on your screen, Ryan Schlesinger. He was found guilty back in November. Investigators say he shot and killed Chase White as officers were serving a warrant at his home. He is being sentenced on multiple charges, including second-degree murder, attempted murder, assault, and using a firearm during a crime. The federal government is asking for life in prison for the second-degree murder charge and extra time for the others. This got started at 9 o'clock this morning, so about 30 minutes ago. We'll let you know what comes out of that. Turning now to our website here, something else that we are tracking today. Another man expected in court for his sentencing this morning. Edward Escobar Jr., he's charged with a crash that seriously injured a TPD officer. We've reported on this several times. We've told you about this here. The officer had to have his lower leg amputated because of this. He reached a plea deal and pleaded guilty to aggravated assault, causing serious physical injury, criminal damage, and a DUI. So we will let you know what comes out of these hearings today, both on air and online. And here on 13 Plus Unscripted, we like to sit down with some interesting people and talk about what they're doing and how it has local ties to us here in Tucson. So I sat down with a man who actually is from Germany. He was born in Germany, and then he came here to the United States, and he decided that he wanted to be a deputy. Very interesting. He wrote a book about it, and he kind of goes through what made him make these life decisions and kind of the advice he'd give anyone else who would be interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement. So he's very interesting. His book just got awarded serious honors. So take a listen here. Good morning, Tom. Thank you for joining us. First, tell us a little bit about your book. What can people expect if they were to order this book or buy it off the shelves?
Good morning. Yeah, thank you for having me, first of all. What can they expect? I try to provide people with an insight when you're out there and you either sit in your patrol car or you respond to calls. What is that like? I tried to give the reader a firsthand look, basically. Step in my shoes and go on this ride along, if you like.
And you have a very interesting life. I was reading through the bio summary, and Um, Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, the other day I was asked, man, you had like 7 lives, and well, it all started in Germany. So I'm originally born and raised in Germany by German parents. Went to high school there, had my job education, started working in the finance world as a banker. So my original education is in banking business. And lived in the financial world basically until in 1997 I met my now wife, who at the time worked for the Department of Defense and just came over with the U.S. Army to Germany. We met, ultimately ended up moving to the United States. At that time, I worked as an enterprise sales person, so selling software to large corporations. And we settled in Massachusetts initially. I did that for a few more years until we relocated to Arizona, and that is where the deputy story begins. And it was really as cheesy as this sounds. I mean, at the time, newspaper was more the media of choice, right? Initially, when you came somewhere, and TV, obviously, but there was an ad in the Daily Star, and for that the deputy that the sheriff's department was looking for deputies, and I put in, and yeah, then it just went from there. I When I left the department, I worked for a while for the state of Oregon as a communications officer, then for the Department of Defense, and until just a few days ago, I worked as a public information officer for Bear County here in Texas.
So what exactly made you, you're selling software, you come from Germany. What made you be like, hey, I could be a deputy?
Yeah, and being 40 on top of everything. So
Oh my gosh. Wow. I love it though,
it,
honestly.
I mean, there is no rational or good explanation. It's really as it was. I've actually had an interest in the profession of a police officer for a long time, since I was a teenager. As a matter of fact, I applied in Germany to become a police officer and was actually accepted, which was a highly competitive process at the time. And out of my entire class, I was the only one out of a few that had put in for that who was accepted. It was also very popular because at the time in Germany there was a compulsory military service, and this, allowed you to not do that. So, but with that said, I didn't think that straight at that age, right? As probably many folks can relate. And I messed up my graduation that year, and I had to repeat my last year of high school, and which wasn't necessarily untypical in Germany, but it did no longer allow me to continue that career with law enforcement, and it just reconnected. I don't know how else to explain it. I saw that ad, and that spark went off again.
And so, what exactly made you want to write this book? Was there one certain thing, or was it kind of, I've had such an interesting life and journey, why not put it down on paper?
I think the main part, besides a lot of folks continuing to say, "Wow, you got to write this down, man. This is this is just such a story." But I think a lot of people have heard that, right? Where you tell someone an interesting story, and that's what they recommend. No, I think it was really one of those moments that I describe in the book as well, where I turned around and look into the proverbial mirror and thought to myself, wow, this is so incredible. If somebody 20 years back, 25 years back would have told me that this is where I am at 41, 42, 43, whenever that thought came to my mind, it's just worth documenting, because it is pretty crazy, and sometimes I have a hard time believing it, that I actually went through all of that.
So, anyone who's interested in purchasing your book, reading your book, where can they get their hands on it?
Right. So you can get it at the obvious on big online retailers, on Amazon, on Barnes and Noble. online. You can also get it in any bookstore. They probably have to order it, but they can, so it's available there as well. And signed copies are available through my website as well. And that's tompeine.com. That's TOMPEINE.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. Anything else about your book or your journey that you want to mention or talk about here?
Maybe this part. And I'm going with feedback that I have now received on the book from others who've read it. So these are not so much my words, but comes from those who've read it. And I'm reading more and more that people are saying this would be really interesting for somebody who is thinking about going into this career, pursuing a career in law enforcement. It doesn't matter if it's as a deputy sheriff or as a police officer or wherever it may be, because the readers have, apparently it has worked that I'm able to relate to people. This is how that is, and give you that look through my eyes and experience it. So it should give folks a pretty realistic impression, the good, the bad, and the ugly, on what to expect and how is that once you're out there.
And again, that was Tom Peine. He wrote Deputy While Immigrant. You're taking a look right now at his website that he mentioned there. So there on the left, you can see that he has kind of a description of what you can expect in the book. And the book is a winner of the fourth quarter 2023 Firebird Book Award. So definitely an awesome achievement there. Big congratulations to him. If you're interested in buying the book, again, you can head to his website. He has different places there. Also Amazon, anywhere that sells books. I think you would be good to go. Now we want to take a live look. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is Santa Monica Pier. And you can just see the waves, the rain on the camera. So Mallory, you were just saying this is actually kind of the system that's coming our way.
Yes. So right now we're kind of in between those two Pacific systems. We had one yesterday that gave us all of that rain. This is that second one that's impacting California this morning. And yeah, all of that is heading our direction over the next 24 to 48 hours. Okay. Of course, back here at home, that also means some snow on Mount Lemmon. Yes, so we're taking a live look up to Summer Haven there, that kind of main drag. And yesterday they got about 5 inches of snowfall, and much more is on the way over the next 2 days here. Now, Sunday rainfall totals, Mount Lemmon, what you're seeing here is likely the moisture equivalent. So they had snow mixed in with the rain. As I mentioned, about 5 inches of that wet, heavy snow. Dragoon, Corona de Tucson, Sahuarita, over an inch of rainfall there. But many of us were between anywhere half of an inch to an inch of rainfall yesterday. Some much needed rain, and that puts January 2024 above normal already. So just under an inch of rainfall. And yesterday was a new daily record for January 21st with 81/100ths of an inch in the bucket at TIA. Now, your hour-by-hour forecast for today, many of us actually stay dry for the next few hours, but then once we head into mid to late afternoon, we start to see that rain reappearing on the radar. This continues to shift from southwest to northeast throughout the evening, more so overnight, and then we track that scattered shower and even maybe some storm activity as that low rotates through the state tomorrow. This takes us through Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, a soggy start to your work week, so keep that rain gear handy. We could even see a spotty shower into Wednesday. But as I mentioned with Summer Haven, more snow on the way. Winter storm warning is in effect for all these areas in pink. That includes the Catalinas, it includes the Rincons, it includes Mount Lemmon, where we could see 8 to 14 inches of snow for those elevations above 7,000 feet in elevation. Now, your 7-day forecast here today, tomorrow, first alert action days due to widespread rainfall and some of that mountain snow. Some lingering showers into Wednesday morning, and then we dry out Thursday, even more so Friday into the weekend. Expect highs the next 5 days below normal, but then by this weekend, looking quite nice. 68 degrees on Saturday, 70 on Sunday. So kind of a half and half 7-day forecast there. Starting off the week with rain, but then we end it with sunshine and warmer temperatures.
Okay, so a little something for everyone. We definitely need that rain this time of year.
For
we were
sure.
just telling Tyler this morning.
Right.
We're like, if you think this is like crazy, or just wait until monsoon.
Yes.
Monsoon in the winter, that's when we need our rain.
Definitely, because once we head into the springtime months, we're
It's dry.
typically very, very dry, very windy, very hot.
Oh, yeah.
That's our wildfire season. So yeah, whatever moisture we can get this time of year really helps us by the springtime.
Okay, thank you, Mallory.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Now we're going to turn on over to our website once again, and we are talking trending stories. Oh my goodness. Take a look at this. So, can you even imagine? You're driving along and your car plunges into a sinkhole. I would be just I don't even know what I would be. It would be extremely shocking, terrifying, all the things. So, this was in Washington. A couple was heading home when their car fell into a sinkhole and it immediately started filling with water. Kind of one of those scenes that you would just picture out of a movie. They said they didn't know what to do. The wife actually tried to open her car door. Her leg got stuck kind of outside as the water was pushing back in. So, she was able to get her leg back in. So, that's some good news. They were able to escape through the windows. So they rolled down the windows, they were able to climb out, but they sat there and they watched their car completely fill with water and sink. So thankfully, everyone's okay, but definitely something that's going to stay with them, I would assume, for the rest of their life. Just absolutely terrifying there. You can see the picture on your screen. If you want to read more about this, again, this is on our website, KOLD.com. All you have to do is click on news and then click on national and you'll be able to find this story. Turning now to another story that is trending on our website. Can you even believe this? So a man was arrested at JFK Airport after 40 pounds of cocaine was found in bags of, wait for it, jumbo shrimp. I have so many questions here. So again, he was arrested at John F. Kennedy International Airport. This happened on Friday. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York, the individual who was arrested was 22-year-old Zachary Scott. And in his suitcase, he had shrimp and cocaine and loose clothes and just a mess of things. So he has been arrested. Federal officials said that he had brick-shaped objects containing cocaine also in his suitcase here. Now, Customs and Border Protection officers actually opened the two suitcases. They found all of this stuff. You can see a picture there on your screen. He faces up to 20 years in prison if he is convicted. The total amount of cocaine measured here was about 40 pounds worth, so that's a lot, a whole lot. Scott reportedly told officials he was paid up to $6,000 to smuggle the drugs in. So, again, I don't even know what to say. This is on our website. Man arrested at JFK Airport after 40 pounds of cocaine found in bags of jumbo shrimp. You can't miss it. KOLD.com if you want to read more about that. And turning now to a story that's so sweet. Take a look here. You can see all these little puppies on your screen. A litter of puppies in North Carolina has a safe, warm place to stay after a Good Samaritan brought them to an animal shelter. Fayetteville Animal Protection Society, they found these 5 puppies at its doorstep after winter storms hit the area. This was earlier this month. The puppies had a heartfelt note with them explaining why the Good Samaritan who rescued them couldn't care for them himself. The note said, "Please help. I found these puppies, sadly, after noticing a local stray dog that I would often feed when I could, dead by the road. I'm sorry for leaving them like this, but I myself am homeless and cannot afford to take care of them." So he brought them to the animal shelter. They are up for adoption there. Again, this is in Fayetteville, but a sad story. But honestly, the fact that he took care of the puppies and brought them to an animal shelter instead of just leaving them out in the wild is a sweet, sweet thing for sure. And also it's super cold, so they probably wouldn't have survived. So definitely a good story to, it's bittersweet, but it makes you smile. There is some hope in the world, people. So that's something to hopefully start off your week a little bit brighter. Taking a look outside, speaking of starting off your week, expect it to be a little wet the next couple of days. Like Mallory has mentioned, you're going to want to keep your rain gear handy. Even though it isn't raining right now, you might see a couple of showers just throughout the day. Nothing too major, but really that system is supposed to pick up later this evening. So maybe when you're getting off of work, heading home, could be a crazy day on the road, so definitely be safe there too. This picture you can see across Tucson, lots of clouds. It looks like the weather that you want to just stay inside and read a book. Unfortunately, as it is Monday, so we have to go to work, but enjoy it while you can. We definitely need that rain. Expecting some rain as well into tomorrow. So First Alert Action Day today, First Alert Action Day tomorrow. First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell will be tracking everything you need to know. So tune in to 13 News here at noon for your news, your weather, your live, local, late-breaking content. You're watching 13 Plus Unscripted. with Carson, and hopefully Anna will be back with us tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for watching.